About the title of the conference, Reclaiming India. Reclaiming is, of course, an idiom of resistance to Hindutva, a Brahminical, supremacist, and ultranationalist force that is now clearly fascistic and in control of India. So from your vantage points as activist intellectuals who have shaped Dalit demands for several decades, what is in need of reclaiming by Dalits? What has been lost by Dalits, in other words? What has been taken away from Dalits? And most importantly, also by whom? And over the course of a long history of oppressions, exploitations, and humiliations. So Martin and Rose.
I think for me, in my perspective, I believe strongly, we need to go back to talking about the whole idea of humanity and personhood. So that stands out utmost for me in every conversation that I have and every action that I'm involved in and every piece of writing. For me, the centrality of what was lost was personhood. And once you take that away from somebody, that just causes intergenerational trauma that we see today after thousands of years of endorsing such graded inequality as divinely sanctioned and lodging it into narratives that had potential that was already proven as oral tradition, right? So when there are dominant narratives that kind of stamps it as your brand that you are not a human being, then where do you go from there, right? So once that is denied, then all else is denied for you.
Martin?
Yeah, well, I can say that we're talking about India. So from many, many years before independence, there was a struggle to reclaim the humanity. There was judicial prohibition on Dalits to learn. Severe punishment was inflicted for attempts to learn. You had no right to walk on the roads. There were rules as to how many meters you must walk from others so that your shadow also does not fall. There were no political rights. And the only hope was that if we become independent from the British, then you will become like citizens. So many people, including Jyotiba Phule, and then lastly, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, he fought on both accounts, on the political independence, not for only Dalits, but for the whole India, and also for Dalits, so that they're treated as human beings. So 1947, India became independent. 1950, we had the Constitution, which for the first time criminalized practices of untouchability. That's closely 7.5 decades earlier. Today, I am coming from a state, Gujarat, not unknown to US people staying in the US from India. Both the Prime Minister and the Home Minister are from this state. So was Gandhi earlier. And is considered to be the model state. And we did a study on untouchability practices in 2010. It says that though Dalits are Hindus, in 90.2% villages, they cannot enter temples. In 64% government schools, Dalits are seated separately during the midday meal. In 54% of the villages, Dalits who may be elected in the local self-government, but they will not be allowed to sit on the chair, and the water pots will be separate. So you have the two parallel rules going on in India at the same time, the rule of the Constitution and the rule of the caste, We had hoped that the rule of the caste will end in 1947. Unfortunately, all the political parties that we have today, consciously, they tried to provoke and propagate caste as a valid social political system. India cannot, it looks like today, it cannot be reclaimed unless it liberates itself from the clutches of the caste system. That's what I would say.